So lately, I've been running into a lot of self-professed comedy nerds who seem to be under the misconception that the majority of stand-up comedy takes place primarily within the realm of comedy clubs, Comedy Central, Showtime, HBO, or any stand-up comedy specials they might see on television. And I'm here to do this blog to inform them that the majority of comedy takes place in seedy nightclubs, smoky nightclubs, really crappy rundown bars, and other unsightly places that people in a million years would never assume stand-up comedy takes place in. So I'm going to call this blog The Unseen Side of Stand-up Comedy, and I'm going to give people on the internet and maybe other stand-up comedians or maybe people that are aspiring to do stand-up comedy to know what actually happens behind the scenes. And this is blog number 1. So in this first blog, I'm going to show you 2 videos. The first is at the Ice House in Las Vegas, where it was the first time I ever told jokes on stage, and the second is an open mic in Modesto, California, called Heroes. And you'll note that both of these videos were filmed A, at a nightclub, and B, at a restaurant. Not in a comedy club, like I said. A lot of the comedy that takes place before comedy clubs, the minor leagues, takes place in restaurants and crappy little bars. Well, anyway, let's take a look at this video and then we'll go over it as soon as the first joke pops off. So there you saw Jay Reed, rising star comedian, brought me on stage, but he butchered my name, and I was able to roll with it. I was able to riff with a cute little joke really quick, got a laugh. So my first joke was a laugh on stage, and that's a positive. Hopefully my last joke on stage will be a positive also. Anyhow, I drove 7 hours from Northern California after work one day to get out to Las Vegas. I met up with my cousin at the Mandalay Bay, and I was telling him about how I wanted to get into comedy, and he said that his roommate was actually putting on an event that weekend at the Ice House in Las Vegas, which is now no longer there. It's a contracting office for a construction company. And he told the guy that I do comedy, so he put me on stage first, did my set, busted my cherry. Then I ended up back in Northern California. I looked up comedy and who was doing comedy, and that's how I found Elder Peralta, who was doing a show at the Clarion Inn in Modesto. And then me and a friend went to go watch the show. It was pretty good. And he mentioned that he was doing an open mic at Heroes in Modesto. And then I'm going to go ahead and cue the second video, and then we'll go and take a look at that. So here's video the first time that I did an open mic. It was at Heroes/St. Stan's Brewery in Modesto, California. And this video right here is of 2 guys, a guy named Elder Peralta and a guy named Rob Special. There was 2 other guys, I believe, a guy named Isaac Ames or Soderstrom and a guy named Josh Hollinger. And believe it or not, all 4 of them quit comedy. None of them do comedy in Modesto anymore or anywhere else, for all that I know. I'm the only one still going. That was back in 2008. Anyhow, the video you're seeing here is from a public access television program in Modesto, and I didn't make the cut, even though I probably had the best set that night. I had a girlfriend in attendance, my brother was there, his girlfriend was there. It was a pretty large audience. So I went on stage, had a great set, I was killing. However, at the end of the set, I started telling some black Jesus jokes. I was pretty much explaining why Jesus couldn't be black, and a lot of black people in the audience took exception to that and started heckling me and yelling at me. And the white people were yelling at them in defense of me, which I thought was bizarre. And it literally looked like there was going to be a race riot. And believe it or not, my twin brother, who was in attendance that night, he's a military guy, he actually hasn't attended too many comedy shows ever since then, because he always felt that I was somehow going to antagonize the crowd. First impressions, you know. So anyway, Elder Peralta was doing his thing. He came up on stage and gave me the cut it sign, like get the hell off stage. So I did my last joke and I wrapped up and I sat down, and white people were telling me not to worry about the black people, and they were saying a lot of racist things to me. And in my head, none of that really computed, because the only thing I worried about was I had a killer set and I had a good time. And I was looking forward to more prosperous times on the stage telling jokes. But after that night, because of what happened, I wasn't able to get any bookings in Modesto, because every time I went to an open mic, someone would come up to me and put their arm around me and say, "Hey Joe, no racist jokes tonight." And that guy Elder, he never put me on a show, ever. he would put on shows at a place called the Fat Cat, which would get like 400 or 500 people in attendance, only because they papered the room. There's a subject for later, papered the room. That's a line you're going to hear come up a few times in this behind-the-scenes comedy blog. And basically, what happened was I could never get a booking, so I had to look towards the Bay Area for bookings, or like the Stockton, Sacramento area. And this guy, because he didn't like what I did that night, or probably because he didn't like me personally, I wasn't able to get bookings in the big shows. And you're going to see later on in this blog that getting bookings in comedy has little to do with how funny or how talented you are. It's all about ticket sales and how many people you can bring to buy drinks and chicken wings.
I dated a homeless girl. That's right, I did. We went to the Mission, got some free food, hung out. It's great. You know what the best part of the whole date was? To drop her off anywhere.